Well, the trip was an opportunity to engage young people, specifically people of color, around issues of immigration, around issues of inclusion, diversity, utilizing their voice, how they can work together and mobilize, build coalition, and do what they can to help transform Germany into a better place, utilizing lessons from the United States and other parts of the world where not only is democracy working well, but the push to create inclusion in a diverse society is working well. Young people are, it's interesting. I mean, young people here are concerned about the same things that young people that I talk to all over the world are. There's a real concern about immigration policy and what does that look like? What is the pathway to citizenship? How can they assist themselves, their parents, their families in being a part of that process? Education, how do they make sure that they're receiving the best that they can? Jobs and opportunity, national security. Those were reoccurring themes, and they are not just here, but we did hear those over and over as I was talking to them. The first advice would be not to call it civic engagement. Because I think when we put these terms on things, young people automatically begin to believe that they are bigger than they are. This is really about service, and it's about figuring out where you can partner your gifts with your concern. And so the first thing that I would say to young people is, what is your gift? Do you speak well? Do you write well? Do you do technology well? Do you build relationships well? What is that thing you do really well? And then what is that issue that you care about? What makes you angry? What makes you sad? What makes you frustrated? What keeps you up at night? And then taking that gift and that issue, figure out where is the area where you would like to have impact. So you talk about issues like education all the time, and they're so huge. Do you want to deal with preschoolers, or do you want to deal with those that are in primary school? Do you want to talk about how do we send more kids to college? Do you want to talk about how do we prepare teachers? Where is that area you want to have impact? And then lastly, what is the capacity you have right now? Because so often these issues seem so huge that they're almost daunting and overwhelming. But if you've got the capacity to spend an hour a week volunteering, if you've got the ability to take €5 and partner with five other people that have €5 and then give those dollars to an NGO that you care about, is there an organization that you like that has a terrible Facebook page and you know how to create a fantastic Facebook page? What is the capacity you have to give right now? Because as you evolve, your ability to serve and give will evolve as well, versus thinking that we have to try to save the world once we walk out the door. It's not the huge things that we attempt to do, it's the small things on a daily basis, partnered with other small people doing small things on a daily basis that make the most huge impact. We can do a lot. There's so many things that we can do with this transatlantic relationship, and I've been a part of so many. And so whether it's been through the British Council, or whether it's been through the American Swiss Foundation, or whether it's been through work with the Marshall Fund, there are so many of these relationships. What happens a lot of times is we spend so much time on the conference and less time on the relationship. And so there's these very rich discussions that take place, this sophisticated planning and strategy that takes place, and then we forget to communicate with each other when we leave. And so I think that the real opportunity is simply looking at young people in the States that are doing work around immigration, around electoral engagement, around poverty, and then look at the young people in Europe, in Germany, that are doing the same work. How do we help partner them where they are? Not always making them feel like they have to come to a transatlantic conference to begin communicating. How can we get young people in the States to share three things they know are working well in their engagement and three things that they haven't done well, and then share that with their German counterparts who can do the same thing. Three things we're doing well, three things we wish we were doing better. And that immediate communication can begin a strategic and human dialogue about the fact that, hey, you know what, you guys are the same as we are. Now let's begin this real communication. And if you do that before you start a conference. Once that conference begins, you create a much more rich discussion with people who already know each other, with people who are working together, who have shared best practices, who are talking about weak areas, who understand where the training is that they need. And that to me is a very baseline, easy strategy to begin having young people on different sides of the pond working together, not just talking together.